So, today is April the 4th, which happens to be my birthday. I had a very nice day, thank you very much for asking. It also happens to be Easter Sunday. And, well, I do have some sort of slightly relevant music on. I'm putting on my Mozart Requiem, which is my favourite copy, or my favourite version of this by John Eliot Gardner, and seems the right kind of music. Even though, as I've mentioned before, I'm not particularly religious. Yet, nonetheless, it turns out that with an April birthday, it comes up that it's often Easter. And so, you know, at other times I've been out celebrating my birthday and, you know, looking to have a nice day out. As I may have mentioned, I just did have this weekend. One year, it was in '93, I was in La Paz for my birthday. And it wasn't actually Easter, it was Palm Sunday, so the week before Easter. But it turns out, you know, I go out for a nice meal or whatever, or a nice glass of Singani or whatever you're going to do. And everywhere was closed. Well, not everywhere, almost everywhere. It's a Catholic country. So I wound up going to a fixed price menu place, and it wasn't the best meal I've ever had. And one of the courses was, in fact, tripe soup. And I was a little bit outraged by that. I mean, it was faux outrage. I didn't really care. But I used it as an excuse to say, let's go off and do something exciting the next day. So the next day we took a bus to Santa Cruz and a train to the border with Brazil, and then crossed over the border and went to the border of Argentina and Brazil, where Iguazu Falls is. You know, on one side, on the Brazilian side, you can see the sort of, I know it's about a mile long, I think, amazing set of falls. I wonder if the mission was filmed there. I feel it was. And then you go into the Argentine side, and then you can swim underneath one of the swimming pools. We swam in Dos Hermanas. That was fantastic. And then, well, that was all very exciting. Then we went off to Asuncion in Paraguay, took a bus to a Mennonite community called Philadelphia, and then hitched through the Chaco and sort of had to pay our way across the border back into Bolivia, and that was a lot of fun. So it does turn out that even if your birthday's on a boring bank holiday, which I find Easter to be the most boring bank holiday, sorry for those of you that love it and Easter bunnies and stuff, but there you go. You can make the best of these things. So today's cocktail is maybe a little bit profane for the day. I sort of vaguely apologise for that, for anyone that cares, but you know, I like to do that. And it's the Corpse Reviver number 2. I've already made the Corpse Reviver number 1. And yeah, okay, it's Easter, so Corpse Reviver, yeah, okay, I get it, that's a bit naughty, but it seems appropriate. As opposed to the other drink, which was a Calvados or apple brandy drink, this one is a gin drink, and we're going to be using London Dry Gin. And I almost forgot to do my starting move there, and that would have been very sad. I'm going to take some absinthe, like so, and I've got my chilled cocktail glass right here, and it calls for just a dash, and that's a healthy dash of absinthe. It doesn't need too much. You just swirl it around, much in the way you'd make a pink gin by swirling around Angostura bitters in the bottom first, and then sadly you have to discard that, which I'll do just there, and then get on with making the rest of the drink. It is going to be an ounce of a London gin, one that's sort of junipery. I'm using my nice new jigger that I got for my birthday. So I did get one of my birthday presents from Kate. Thank you, Kate. And we're going to put an ounce of that in. You can choose how much you use for each ingredient because it's an equal parts drink, so it's quite easy to make. Next ingredient, I'm going to put in an ounce of some form of triple sec or orange liqueur. I have this Italian one. It's maybe not the best in the world, but I think it'll do the trick. And I'm going to pour in another ounce of that. This recipe, by the way, all comes from Harry Craddock in the 1920s and 30s in the Savoy. He was the main bartender, wrote a book, and this was one of the recipes in there. The Corpse Reviver, of course, it really refers not to people rising from the dead, except figuratively for those of you that may have a hangover. But the guide also goes on to recommend that do not have 4 of them because otherwise you'll swiftly become unrevived. And I thought that was pretty funny. The third ingredient in here, again another ounce of this, I'm going to use Cocchi Americano. It actually said to use Quina Lillet. They don't make that anymore, but it's an aromatized wine, and it's what we got, and it's what I'm going to use. I think it'll do perfectly well. And I am going to pour in another ounce of that, like so. And then the final ingredient is some freshly squeezed lemon juice. I will say though, this can be a little bit of a sour drink, so rather than using the full, I'm going to put a scant ounce in because I think it's better balanced that way. I prefer it that way, but you know, As with all these cocktails, go with your own taste. I've seen some recipes that have a little splash of sugar syrup in it to balance it out. You know, do what you want. It's going to be your drink after all, right? So give that a good shake. Because remembering, if it's got citrus in it, you always shake them. That's the sort of guide, you know, citrus or dairy or something, or egg, you always shake those. Oh, it's nice and chilly already. And we are just going to strain that into the cocktail glass. So I'll move the absinthe bottle out so you can see the process of it all just going in there. That's exactly the right colour. How can that not remind you of Easter? And like so. And the only garnish on this is a twist of orange. Of course, I'm using, still got a sticker in it. I don't really want the sticker part. I'm using a twist of some blood orange. That seems again highly appropriate. Twist that, put it in there, and let's see what we've got. Ah, I feel revived already. Cheers.